either a support or an AD carry and keeping that top lane for the counter pick to make sure Xiaolahu has the best matchup he can possibly get. And I mean, quite honestly, like, this is a very squishy team from FPX right now. Like, you've got a lot of good pick potential and good engage for the moment, but I mean, if anyone gets isolated or caught out, they're just gonna die so quickly.
Yeah, that is literally my worry right here. You would usually want a really beefy front line, and usually that beefy front line is going to be an Udyr. We saw it work 2 days ago. I'm pretty sure it was for AL, where they played, you know, Graves and Lucian, but they had Milios, they had Orianas, they had speed ups and heals. Right here is every man for himself. This Aatrox is gonna jump into your team, and you're just gonna see headless chickens running rampant anywhere because there's no one in the front line to sort of keep them alive. Once the Kindred ultimate is used, for anyone who gets caught out, this is it.
Absolutely, and I think Weibo are kind of recognizing, look, let's just go front to back. Let's get ourselves a solid team fight going here. Good engage options, good flank options as well. If they lock in this Jarvan, that kind of rounds it off very nicely. Keep them all together away from the Kalista and the Azir, who are, you know, in the first few levels, not the most longest range champions in the world. It looks like the Sejuani is going to be it, so they want that little bit of front line there. And there is the K'Sante into the Aatrox. And Weibo, they had the option themselves to go for the K'Sante. They decided to go the Aatrox for ZDZ. So we'll see how the K'Sante does here for Xiaolahu up against ZDZ. But I mean, right now for FPX, if you get caught, you're dead. However, if you don't get caught, you're able to get away from some of these guys. The kiting potential is insane from this team.
Absolutely, and there's going to be a lot of pressure from FPX, especially towards the bot side of the map, as his ultimate landing right there. Again, Kindred ult used too early. That's your chance to get out alive, but then you have to disperse. And it feels like the Aatrox is going to be a huge problem, and he did have a pretty good time into K'Sante, pre-K'Sante nerf. Now he's going to be even better on his own on the top side.
No Gios?
Is this, I was about to say, is this where the chants usually happen?
This is usually where we get the Gios, but obviously we're not getting audio this time. They have got the picture-in-picture, but no Gios. Unless there's Gios on the stream and we didn't hear them, but normally we do hear them, so that's unfortunate. I wanted you to get your first Gios. I wanted you to get your first Gios.
I waited.
I know,
I was like,
we were waiting.
Sure, this is where it happens.
I was also scared. It's also one of those fun things with a remote broadcast, as I'm sure you know. The longer that silence goes on, the more you're like, have I DC'd? Have they DC'd? Like, are we okay to continue with the broadcast? Yeah, literally, have we all DC'd? But now, I'm speaking of DCs, but ZDZ, now realizing he knows exactly where the jungler of FPX is going to be starting here. He's going to be able to get that first bit of information, and just interesting to see now where the priorities go for these two junglers. They're going to be having mirrored starts, so right at the top of the table, or sorry, top of the map, and they're going to be moving their way down. We'll see if the junglers want to go for anything. But for now, both teams are going to be pretty happy just to farm up. I don't expect to see too many big shenanigans until about level 3, so 2 or 3 more minutes.
Usually it's very scary to try and mirror a Kindred, especially when the Kindred is pathing towards that winning bot side of the map, where it is going to be perma-pushed from the side of Ezreal and Ashe. So Sejuani is going to drop the Gramp. This is going to go literally blue into Wolves, into the bot side of the map, because if you do actually mirror the Kindred, it becomes a little bit dangerous in terms of you getting invaded on your right path.
We'll see how lucky or unlucky MilkyWay is with the stacks for this Kindred right now. Of course, first one does spawn in the scuttle. 50-50 either way. Which one, you know, kind of ends up being the one you go for. Of course, we wait for that first 4 stacks is the general way we look for it. And for now, Xiaolahu, or Xiaohu, excuse me, Xiaohao. God, there's too many Xiaos in this game.
You're gonna have an easy time in this game. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time. But Xiaohao
I've got a fun fact for you.
Go on, go for it.
I've got a fun fact for you. I was trying to figure out what would my name be if he was Little Trouble, and it's actually Xiaofan.
Ah, Xiaofan, interesting.
That would be my in-game name if I was playing in the LPL. Yeah.
There you go. I used to be Blood Penguin, obviously. I looked up what penguin was in Chinese, but the way that translates is actually, it translates almost directly as business goose. As we wait to see a little bit of an invade coming in here. We're going to try and maybe steal away this railway. It's a bit of a 50-50. It does go over to the side of MilkyWay. XiaoHao should just move himself out of that, no problem.
See, you know what? I was thinking Kindred is very fast at clearing, pretty good at sort of outrunning the Sejuani when it comes to clear speed. You know what wasn't in my bingo card? Sejuani actually trying to invade to 50-50, but bot lane. Whoa, that was double Summers taken away from life and heal from Ezreal. Now, this is the unfortunate part, right? You talked about the Scuttle Card being 50-50, especially on the first map from MilkyWay. It spawned in the top side, therefore you see your Kindred move through middle to the top side of the map. We explained how strong Kalista Renata is as a duo. They instantly take Summoners off the FPX bot lane, makes it a tad bit easier for Sejuani to visit them towards the bot side of the map.
Yeah, really nice move there from MilkyWay, just to make sure he was able to cover himself, get a full clear, get that first stack, and of course, no real kind of counter gank or counter kind of play to come out from XiaoHao. Of course, both these teams fairly happy, well, I'd say Weibo more specifically are very happy with an early game that just kind of takes its time. You don't want to go too crazy with anything like that. They are, we were talking as well, of course, about the Weibo having themselves like a 6 kills in 20 minutes game not too long ago. They are slow, methodical about it. And it does feel like for Weibo it is kind of about, you know, kind of the top side having that slower start to make sure that they don't need to go too crazy. They don't need to push themselves too far. It's when they get, you know, the tempo gets changed, when they're moving around a little bit more kind of, you know, sporadically, that's when they start to make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. And now my eyes are always going to be on XiaoHao and where he's going to find the angle towards the bot side of the map. Life does not have summoners. He's playing a very immobile champion in the likes of Ashe. Yes, a lot of bulk, but the second you overextend, you can very easily get punished. A thing like Handshake from Renata can very easily disposition you in lane. And with XiaoHao being there to punish that, this Kalista could really take off in the early game.
And it's an interesting one as well, is noticing that the priority, when we get these more kind of AD carry centric junglers, the Graves, the Kindred, there is a huge, you know, kind of move towards those Void Grubs in the early stages. And I really do like this because when you have got effectively triple AD carry now on your team, when you're left on a lane, if you're not fully able to cover that as the side of Weibo, you will lose that tower. You're going to be so quick. But now XiaoHao should be spotted here by the Hawkshot, and is, and he hasn't started up the Dragon either, so this could be very, very easily contested, and it will be, as XiaoHao realizes now MilkyWay is in the area, looks for a little bit of a move onto him, has lost the aftershock. For now, has got the honey fruit to keep him topped up just to about half HP.
Pretty good move from the bot lane from Weibo Gaming right there. They shoved in the wave real quickly because they knew their mid lane did not have prior, so they needed to back up the Sejuani. XiaoHao has actually been living in the face of this Kindred for the entire time. Again, Life does not have summoners. That's you walk too far forward, he could potentially get caught. No level 6 on Sejuani though. There is no long engage, non-committal, there you go, yeah. Engaged from the Sejuani. Therefore, he gets to walk up and poke, and they're going to disperse back to the lanes.
And look, Trouble, I'll be totally honest. I was hoping that Weibo and FPX would show why we love the LPL so much. You know, the crazy is our game, as the saying goes for this league. It's been slow. It's been 7 minutes, and not really a lot has happened. Level 6s will be hit pretty much across the board the next minute or so. MilkyWay has access to his. XiaoHao's still waiting for his to kind of come up. Xiaohu should be fine. He's sitting there, vision perfectly, spotting out exactly what's going on. But for now, it is just kind of waiting for things to happen.
They have not spotted XiaoHao, but XiaoHao, go and farm, buddy. You're level 5. Ashe's flash is going to be up very shortly, but you need that level 6 of Sejuani to catch people off guard. His bot side jungle did not spawn, but he has to hover towards the bot side of the map because this is where MilkyWay was going to be pathing. You see that there is the entire top quadrant of the jungle still available, and the bot side just spawned, but they want to play around the dragon. They want to play around the fact that flash is down on Ashe. Xiaolahu gonna pop the ghost and get away. Well, you know what? Cassante getting beaten up in lane was not something that I thought was gonna happen this year, but I can't say I'm disappointed it is happening.
I'm still sad he's in the meta. That's all I'm saying. I'm still sad he's in the meta. I just need him to, I need him to just kind of eventually be nerfed into the ground like Zed, where we don't really see him anymore. But that's just my personal opinion on it. Of course, a push in now from CDT.
You're just a hater.
I'm a little bit of a Cassante hater. Just feel like someone that overloaded shouldn't really exist in the game. But for now, Xiaoalaohu will be fine to just get this wave pushed up. Doesn't have TP, but with a cannon wave, he shouldn't lose a huge amount. And right now, again, like you said, XiaoHao finally having access to that level 6, but I mean, Life's already got its flashback, so this isn't going to be an immediate kind of, you know, go bot, get a kill, easy kill, but no problem whatsoever. You are going to have to burn those summoners once again, and with the supports nearly moving up towards level 6, it becomes harder and harder to dive this bot lane, especially when you have that enchanted Xioalaohu, just to make things so much harder.
I am so disappointed in Weibo because their games are so slow in terms of punishing early mistakes. I feel like Crisp and Light had a fantastic 2v2 an opportunity to burn the summoners off of Deokdam, and Life in particular had no summoners at all for 5 minutes, and it wasn't punished in any way, shape or form. Every time XiaoHao tried to go towards the bot side of the map, the hawk shot would spot him. He tried twice to pass towards the bot side of the map with no camps up. He wasn't level 6 in time, and now this Kindred is running out of control, but Crisp is following up on the mid lane.
Yeah, they're jumping onto Care, who does not get hit by the Glacial Prison. Should be followed up here and taken out pretty easily. Crisp, however, with a handshake and a heal, trying to keep himself alive. Care hasn't gone down just yet, and they should be able to get him out, no problem whatsoever. And he keeps his ultimate available for him. So now FPX in a great position to take this dragon just purely because you wasted so much time trying to make that play happen in mid.
Yes, so Ani ultimate down, Azir ultimate down. You can no walk up into this objective anymore. Level 7 on MilkyWay as well. We need to keep track of that Kindred and how far she snowballs out of control this game, because obviously you have a farmer versus a ganker and a tank in terms of Sejuani, but this Kindred is already about 23 CS up onto the Sejuani, an entire level up, and starting to stack these dragons. You're gonna have to fight this Kindred one way or the other.
Xiaohu! He gets caught out a little bit, flashes away, but now with the ultimate coming across, he gets hit by the enchanted Xioalaohu across the map. First blood comes in, even a true shot barrage to make sure they seal the deal. Can they get more than just the 2 of these Void Grubs? I don't think so. It's going to be a 4-for-2 trade in those objectives, but I mean, FPX just feeling more confident. Even when Weibo go for a play, they're just kind of messing up the execution.
Yeah, absolutely. And XiaoHao very lucky right there. He did have his smite. He smites the second Void Grab to not give 5 over to the side of FPX. That would be disastrous, especially with a double AD carry towards the bottom of the map. Xiaohu walks up to the tower a little bit too much, gets stunned, rooted by the ultimate right here from Nico, and has to try to run towards his jungler. His jungler is like, I'm just doing Void Grabs, buddy. I cannot come to you. And the arrow from downtown seals the deal right there. Kindred is the recipient of that kill, and with that kill, Kraken Slayer already completed in MilkyWay's inventory. This Kindred is already 30 CS up, an entire level, and she's going to become a terror on the Rift.
Yeah, she will indeed. And we actually missed a wet noodle fight, shall we call it, up in top side. The all-out was used by Xiaolahu as a demonic ascension for ZDZ. But right now, let's have a look at the replay here. He's just trying to clear the wave, and it looks like he just straight up gets caught out. Yeah, just brought away from the tower. Ult for ult trade. Nothing too crazy to come out of that and come back into live. But yeah, I mean, you know, 1,000 gold lead, a dragon up, 4-2 on the grubs. So far, the first 12 minutes of this first game has been very, very good here for the side of FPX. They may be trying and catch out Xiaohu, knowing that flash isn't available. Enchanted Xioalaohu will go wide, but I mean, we're now already at that kind of time in the game where you can just keep throwing out that cooldown, just trying to find picks whenever you want.
Absolutely, you've got the cooldown reduction boots as well, so your ultimate is going to be coming up much faster right now. They're looking to try and catch Xiaohu, but on the other hand side, you have XiaoHao coming from the top side of the map, and everybody's sort of guarding that bot side river, but I feel like FPX are so much stronger here with MilkyWay and Kraken Slayer.
They are indeed. There's going to be the hostile takeover, and Care is dead. It hit right there onto MilkyWay, so he was auto-attacking away onto the Nico. Life does have flash, doesn't want to use it because he's got a blast cone, but that was a little bit of an overcommitment there from FPX, as they really wanted to try and make sure they got that pink ward, which sadly for them stays alive. Actually, no, they did get it. So I guess mission accomplished.
Absolutely. Like for Weibo, you take those. That was such unfortunate timing for MilkyWay, because he did have ultimate to try and save his mid laner, but he was actually taunted by the ultimate from Renata and ends up killing his mid laner instead. We talked about how powerful the Kraken Slayer is, but we never talked about the power of Renata into triple AD carry composition, where if it does hit one of the 3, you can actually turn around and 100% to zero your teammate, especially if you're MilkyWay and you're that far ahead in terms of items. It becomes a little bit scary to get hit from the Renata ultimate.
Yeah, they kind of really commit towards this pink ward, and then like you said, the Renata ultimate comes across, hits down onto MilkyWay, which then just makes sure that they cannot get the Lamb's Respite. They're able to kind of push everybody back off of that particular play. I mean, it's a weird one as well. If you look at the minimap there, like Deokdam was on a reset. Doesn't really make sense to be committing that hard when you know you're going to be at a numbers disadvantage at the best of that kind of a trade. So, bit of a weird one, but it is only 1-1. 14 minutes now as we finally finish up the laning phase, or at least the early game of the laning phase. Both teams having their first items kind of, actually not really, it's already FPX who have their first items. They're going to use this as a bit of a movement here. Life will probably have to use his flash just to get away from the handshake, and he will do just that. The Rift Herald will be confirmed by FPX. They should be in time to reset and maybe contest for this dragon.
Absolutely, and I feel like FPX had every right to take this fight right there. It was a power move. You had the Kraken Slayer. You were stronger to take the 3v3 even without the AD carries included right there. But right now, as you mentioned, FPX, they have an item on every single champion that counts. The whole top side of the map has an item except for the support, and MilkyWay is looking towards ZDZ. They know they haven't got necessarily the cover towards the bot side of the map to play for the dragon currently. You know, Ash moving in to put down a ward is a very dangerous mission to send your support on, especially once it's that squishy. Life did lose his flash, so it's not going to be as easy to just walk in and put down some vision to try and contest this dragon. Luckily, Hawkshot is going to be one of the tools that you're going to have to use.
XiaoHao moving up towards this top side. Xiaolahu has already taken a huge chunk, and yeah, I think Xiaolahu should be going down here. He will try and go all out onto the Sejuani, but they have enough CC to easily stop him. And that's going to be MilkyWay realizing he was too little, too late. And that's another kill going over to Weibo.
And I'm actually stunned right here. XiaoHao is actually looking all over the map. You know, he's playing this one. He's playing the champion right here that will be starting the fight. He's looking to try and get his side laners ahead. We've seen him mid lane. We've seen him top lane. He's trying to make the planes. While MilkyWay is sort of running around trying to chase after his Sejuani. Right here, Weibo. They do have numbers advantage. Even if K'Sante comes back to life, there is no TP to actually support them towards that fight. And as you can see, Aatrox does take the top lane tier 1, can press B button, go back to base, buy items, and TP into the fight if Weibo want to take this 5v5.
Weibo can just take the time with this. Like you said, there is a TP now for Xiaolahu, but I mean, I fear of flanking Aatrox more than I fear of flanking K'Sante in a lot of times, because that raid boss becomes abhorrently difficult to deal with. Looks like FPX got themselves right back onto the objective, back into the Basque Cone. XiaoHao will just Arctic Assault himself back to where he came from. So the objective is still confirmed here by FPX. The gold a little bit ahead by Weibo, but nothing too much to really be kind of pushing for. And it is a Hex Rift as well. So for FPX, that third dragon could be key, and that could be our next big fight in 5 minutes.
I feel like for FPX, this is actually very crucial, especially if they start falling a little bit behind and they're looking for a power spike, second, third item onto their Ezreal. They're looking for 2 to 3 items on Kindred, as long as some stacks onto the champion. You have earned yourself 10 minutes on the clock, which is so crucial. Getting these first dragons, starting to stack them up, gives you a lot of decision-making ability later on in the game, because you don't necessarily have to fight every single dragon from here on out. Things like Baron is spawning in 3 minutes, and you have triple AD carry. You burn through that really quickly. So I think Weibo need to keep this in the back of their mind that yes, maybe taking the dragons away from FPX is a very good solution, but you have to keep an eye out always on the back.
Yes, you do. I think Xiaolahu wants to go for the full engage here, jumping onto ZDZ, who drops the ultimate to try and make sure this is a full 1v1 for the moment. But yeah, the junglers were coming in, and the rest of the team as well on the minimap were pushing themselves forward. The AD carries have not been participants in this game at all. The Kalista and the Ezreal have just been bot lane, farming up a storm. In fairness to them, they're on 10 CS a minute. They're doing great, but they're literally not participating in the rest of the map.
Hey, at least they're doing the job that they were given. They're just sitting on the 1v1, they're uninteractive, they're sitting, they're hitting every single creep, every single last hit they can, so they can be as useful as possible when the fights do come around. You see that Ezreal is now sitting on 1.5 item, going towards that mana mune that's going to transform into more mana. You see Blade of the Ranking already completed for the Kalista. I feel like the longer the time goes, the better it will be for Ezreal, getting the second item, trying to get into the fights first, poke out very crucial targets from the side of Weibo to try and sort of misbalance these fights, especially since you're very squishy and you play towards more of chaotic style of team fights, I would say, with all this triple AD carry action.
And we wait, Trouble. We wait, and we continue to wait. There's still...
This is the LPL, Oisin. I wasn't told I have to wait. I wasn't told I have to wait.
I false advertising in terms of this game, but it is just the way it is. I do feel like though we are starting to get to a little bit of a boiling point with this, kind of mid game as such. We are getting first items, if not second, now built up for everyone in terms of FPX. We are starting to see more and more kind of pressure and damage coming out very quickly. So I feel like this next dragon in 2 minutes should, I put a big asterisk onto the should be our big point of contention right now. Care may just be losing his life as he just get hit by the CC. Emperor Divide over the wall, even pops down the Seeker's Arm Guard. Not quite sure why you would use that cooldown unless you have the money to buy your Zhonya's, but they'll get the kill. They'll lose a tower mid, but they'll gain one in bot.
Okay, that's not very worth it for Weibo, if you ask me. Losing your mid lane tower is honestly one of the most important vision protection structures in the entire game. That mid lane tower extending too much forward in the mid lane could mean the end for you, so they need extremely good vision control around that mid lane. Put that pressure with the wards into the river. If you're Weibo, that's an extremely good pick for you, and it does go to the Azir, and Xiaohu is an incredible Azir, and he can use a lot of this gold to try and snowball the fights later on, but losing that mid lane tower can hurt you in terms of getting picked. The Kindred could potentially be living in your jungle rent-free. You do have the long range engages with the Crystal Arrow coming from the Ashe, so you need to be extremely cautious of these pockets of vision that you're not going to be having in your jungle if you're Weibo.
They move in. Still only 3 stacks on the Kindred, so not quite at that magic number 4. As we wait to see now FPX setting up around this Dragon Pit. As you mentioned, they do have that mid lane tier 1, which makes it very difficult for the side of Weibo to really kind of push this away. Everyone is kind of waiting to see what goes on here. As we see in the mid lane, it was just a Rift Herald dropped. Nothing else really too untoward about it. That's why they were able to take that tower so quickly. But now, a good poke from Deokdam. He's 2 items. He's actually really far ahead in terms of the item curve of this Kalista, just because those items are just relatively cheaper than what you would what else you would be going for on the Kalista.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Deokdam right there gets a little bit baited from the chance forward from XiaoHao. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to take the 50-50 of actually getting ulted. He doesn't run the cleanse here onto the Ezreal, so it could be extremely dangerous if he does get hit by Sejuani R. And you'll see now Weibo will try to take a step forward to try and contest that wave in the mid lane, but again, not having that tower allows Ezreal to free push that wave and the dip straight into Fog of War towards that river. They are going to TP. I'm pretty sure they're Aatrox in here. Top lane wave shove. They need the Aatrox to make an appearance to try and win this fight.
It's Lei, and Xiaohu is nowhere near this right now. He's going to see the cares on the backside of this one here. The dragon is gone. They haven't been able to contest this. You just walk away here as FPX. You don't need to fight this, but now they're looking for everyone else because they know that Xiaohu's unavailable to 5v4 for the moment. Xiaohu can't even be a part of this fight. The Glacial Prison goes completely wide. ZDZ has to pop the ultimate, but he has been popped himself. Not quite sure where that ultimate was going for Care. He tried to flash in, but didn't quite hit the distance. Either way, dragon and a kill. FPX. I mean, Weibo just kind of looked like they kind of didn't make a call.
Yeah, Weibo are just trying to sort of follow up FPX, but FPX are just so stable in their calls. This is the sort of decision-making that we talked about in the start of the show. We're like, FPX will make a call, every single one of them will follow it, and they're doing just that, and Weibo are just scrambling about. Xiaohu was still pushing a wave in the mid lane. He finds Care, TPing behind them. The Aatrox TP is coming in way too late. We talked about how important this Aatrox will be in these fights, especially with so many squishy members on the side of FPX. Doesn't find a flank angle with the TP, doesn't find an angle to get into this fight. XiaoHao misses his ultimate on Sejuani, which is extremely crucial for potential re-engage. But I want you to keep your eyes on ZDZ right here, because he hits the backline with 2 spells and MilkyWay almost disappears. Wait, Weibo have started Baron.
Weibo, this is kind of desperate right now. They're seeing if they can maybe take advantage of a moment there where FPX aren't going, but they're fully committing to it for the moment here. Care trying to get in behind them, and he will have a blast blast cone should he need it. They're going to shove him over the wall, but he gets his ultimate off anyway. They're going to be the burst down. Crisp almost getting him down. He finally gets into the Fate's call, but the Baron's been hit with the Lamb's Respite. The Renata is dead. Stolen away. FPX get the Baron as well. Deokdam's just trying to do damage on the backside here. As you can see, finally ZDZ jumps in. They will take down the Ezreal. It's 3 kills over to Weibo. They only lose 1, but the Baron went over to FPX.
All right, 2 takeaways from here. MilkyWay does not miss those. This guy is an absolute monster when it comes to smite fights, but on the side of Weibo, that was a fantastic call. If you look over on the FPX, they did lose a bunch of summoners. Ezreal didn't have flash. Ashe didn't have Ghost, you didn't have flash onto the Nico, so for Weibo to pull out yet another fight when they have that Aatrox ultimate back up, it was a fantastic choice. Look at Xiaohu right here, he spot scare, shoves him straight into the team. You don't care that he shoved him into your Renata because you'll see that Light pulls in Renata with the ultimate, but in terms of healing care off without getting a huge ult on the Nico, it was absolutely massive. MilkyWay, yes, he does end up killing the Baron, but look at ZDZ. The second he's in this backline, so many squishy targets, ends up killing that Ezreal, getting the extra shutdown gold as well, 450 ka-ching into this Aatrox's pocket. Right now sitting on 3 items. He's a massive threat for FPX.
Life's dead. Life's dead.
Yeah, well,
I'm not quite sure why
when
he's
you play
there.
Ashe and you have no summoners, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Life's not been having the best game in the world when on this Ashe pick, unfortunately. It does mean that Weibo do keep the gold exceptionally close, despite losing the Baron, despite losing the last few kind of dragon skirmishes. But the big fight is at 1:45. That's when we're going to really see what Weibo have for the rest of this game. As I say that, Light's taking a huge chunk of damage. He does not have flash. True Shot Barrage goes completely wide. It was very much blind, so they didn't know exactly where Light was, but I mean, this is where Weibo need to make their final stand in 1:30. They need to make sure they do not give over this Hex Soul. It would be so powerful for the side of FPX if they can get that just with a double AD carry comp. Like, how do you even function in that now?
Oh, Deokdam is dead.
He's not dead just yet. ZDZ comes in off the backside. The hostile takeover does a hell of a lot, but so does the Lamb's Respite. ZDZ is still alive and still doing damage. He's getting in so much. And you can see that MilkyWay finally gets shut down. Weibo crawling back these fights while that was happening. Xiaolahu brought off the jungler into the side lane and said, all right, me and you, man, let's 1v1.
And this is where it starts becoming very tricky for FPX to play the game. We mentioned how this Aatrox, if he does find an angle into the backline, you've got 4 squishy champions. The second Aatrox, Q1, Q3, you're dead. You don't even get to count. Once the Kindred ultimate is used defensively to try and save one of your teammates, you pretty much disperse after that. We saw FPX trying to run away from the Aatrox. It wasn't possible. So ZDZ has had a fantastic game in terms of trying to find his way into that backline.
It's been all about the solo laners on the side of Weibo. You can see them just getting so much value here. Like, you know, Xiaohu and ZDZ just making great engages. See, have a look at how Deokdam takes so much damage. He's just in the middle of 2 soldiers and doesn't realize he's taking so much damage. That's to use his heal just in case. But yeah, I mean, look, great flank coming in here from ZDZ, and then Xiaohu just kind of able to keep auto-attacking.
And that was pretty much of a mistake from the side of FPX, because they did see that ZDZ did walk himself onto a control ward to try and get vision to get that flank going. Ooh. Really nice pressure right here from FPX. The quick decision making that we talked about, they're gonna get 2 towers in 1 in exchange for this dragon. This is why the dragons that we mentioned in the early game being stacked for FPX are so important, because if you need them as a pillow to earn yourself more minutes to destroy the map, they can very well be used as that. 3 dragons, they don't need to rush the soul yet. As long as they keep taking structures towards the Nexus, this is enough for FPX. They know that at this point in time, they cannot take the front to back versus this Weibo composition.
Absolutely, and again, like you said, just a really smart heads-up play coming out here from FPX, saying, look, we can't contest this dragon, there's no point in us trying to, so let's just move around the map, get something else. But I mean, ZDZ is destroying turrets right now, just single-handedly taking out all these inners and outers, basically on his own. Just making sure the rest of Weibo keep themselves in line. Again, the gold lead basically even. It's 3 dragons to 1 in favor of FPX. It's 9 kills to 4 in favor of Weibo. But right now, it is looking like these 2 teams are not willing to give an inch, because otherwise they will take a mile. So for the moment, both teams very pensive with how they want to try and move forward, how they want to try and take these next fights.
And I feel like for FPX right here, I feel like they need to play the map a little bit more clever, and they do have this in them. They have done this in plenty of series that they have played. However, not having the teleport onto Care might hurt you a little bit in terms of playing the side lane. And Xiaolahu, unfortunately, you cannot afford to have your Cassandra in the side lane. He has to group at this point. You are so freaking squishy on the side of FPX that if you get caught out, maybe this Cassandra will be your only bailout in this particular term. But on the side of Weibo, they can just chill. They can just play their front to back. They've got their 2 tanks. They've got they're engaged. They're disengaged. Azir has been doing great. 3 items. One of the 3 is going to be the Frozen Heart, especially after triple AD carry. You are being chilling if you are this Azir. You're not taking damage. You get to dish out a bunch of damage as well. And for Weibo, they're just playing the waiting time, waiting until Baron is up, waiting until next Dragon is up. They're going to fight every single objective that's going to be thrown their way, because in terms of a front to back, in terms of a team fight, they are just stronger.
XiaoHao moving forward there, seeing if you maybe get the arcane or the shift. What's it called?
Arcane
shift. God. Arcane shift, thank you. My brain, 6 a.m. brain. Well, it's 7 a.m. now, but just not living up to the expectations. But yeah, I mean, like this, Aatrox is disgustingly huge right now. 4 items, does finish off the Sterix gauge, keeps himself very much in that kind of HP kind of game of chance where you try and see if you can maybe burst him down, but still can't diss some of the damage that will be coming out from this Kindred. Lots and lots of damage be available to the side of FPX. It's all about who kind of gets caught.
Yeah, FPX have a huge weakness, which is you cannot walk forward without your Cassandra. Your Cassandra literally cannot be a pressure in the side lane, which means you lose a lot of that pressure on the map that we talked about. He needs to be there because he's your only ward. This Cassandra is the only person that can actually face check to walk deep, so you can place down wards if you want to take fights for FPX. I think they're going to have to find a very creative way. They're going to have to catch someone off guard completely. Maybe a Crystal Arrow hitting from life right there to try and get a pick to create a 4 versus 5 situation.
Flank.
And fight from there on out. ZDZ does have a flank from the top
Oh,
side.
the prediction! XiaoHao does get the Glacial Prison, but it's not going to be good enough. The hostile takeover is not really going to do anything, to be perfectly honest. Now they can turn and burn onto ZDZ. You can see that Light's trying to burn down this Cassandra, but he just can't. The Kindred, though, gets popped immediately. There's going to be the Inverse Divide to try and make sure they can't get jumped on top of this one here. Life making sure that he doesn't get taken out by ZDZ, who's so low. Had the bailout, but not quite able to do anything else. It's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Weibo, and you can start to see the momentum of this game kind of shifting a little bit. Not going to land the True Shot Barrage, but Weibo are still coming out on top.
I think this could definitely be Baron. You do have the Hex Gauge, you do have double TP on your Azir and your Aatrox, full HPs. You're gonna see the first TP going towards the top side of the map. They're pinging the Baron, they have the Sejuani alive. Very crucially right here, a very good start from FPX. Deokdam actually, Icon shifts backwards, which means he's too far away to be followed up on that Sejuani ultimate. The entire Renata ultimate is dodged, and everybody piles up on Aatrox. You look at this, Q1, Q2, Q3, you die. MilkyWay dies from 70% HP. And now they're trying to contest this, but you don't have a smite, you don't have a jungler, you don't have a chance of stealing this.
No, you do not. You can see now, you can see that Deokdam just trying to do a little bit of damage. They're trying to shift their momentum back down towards that Dragon Pick. 20 seconds till that happens. You haven't been able to reset here as Weibo, but you do have Baron. It's all about the poke that Deokdam can really put on here before the rest of the team is here. Care, pop down the clone to make sure he's in a decent position to be able to kind of look for that vision, but for now, no flash is available for pretty much anybody on the side of FPX apart from MilkyWay. You're not looking too great on the side of Weibo either. ZDZ did go on a little bit of an adventure. They know that he's somewhere around here because that ward has just been popped down, and yep, they found ZDZ. The Dragon is going to be the trade back here. ZDZ will lose his life almost instantly. And they will be able to try and turn and burn, but I mean, the Dragon's gone. That was the trade. You win a kill, but you lose the Dragon.
Yeah, and I don't know if the kill is really worth it right here, but however, it does slow down the pace of the Baron buff, because Aatrox is the force that FPX are really scared of in terms of pushing their side lanes. And right now, with Weibo having that Baron, they could have very easily just opened up the base of FPX. I think that this is a huge win for FPX, taking the Aatrox down, making sure that you are not scared to walk up the side lanes and pushing the waves. You saw Care go towards the top bot side of the map, push down that wave. Edgel gets to walk up mid lane, pushes out that wave. Now, Cassandra is also free of jobs, so he can walk topside and push out that wave. So basically, you've eaten up through half of that Baron buff from Weibo Gaming.
beaten out through half of it. You've, not really going to get in a position even when the Aatrox respawns to kind of push for anything else. We do see, I think that the Kindred finally got up to 4 stacks there. So a bit of a slow stacking game for the Kindred here from MilkyWay. We'll have to wait till we hover over just to confirm that. But yeah, it's not been great. We are starting to hit, full items for pretty much a lot of people. You actually have a QSS already for Deokdam. I really like this item pickup because no cleanse, no Mikhail's coming out for the moment for life. So just making sure that if he does get caught, he should be fine. But for now, it is just everyone trying to, an arms race, if you will, build up as much as they possibly can before going for any kind of next big fight. But this is kind of what we talked about a little bit in Champ Select as well. It's a front to back for Weibo. They know how they can play this. They know how to bring this kind of away from the side of FPX. For FPX, you need to land the poke beforehand. You need to get these health bars down a little bit, because otherwise ZDZ is going to have a flank and should be able to take you out if you even think about overstepping.
I mean, the poke is landing. However, this Sejuani is pretty locked and loaded. You've got a ton of HP right there. You've got a lot of magic resist. And mind you, Nico is not necessarily a very consistent AP damage dealer like Aziri. This is more of a, I'll pop you in terms of EQ ult and you're dead. If you're not, too bad. And Sejuani does have plenty of MR with the Rukern. She has plenty of armor with the Frozen Heart right there. So we saw Deokdam do land poke on Sejuani. I don't think the HP bar moved from the Sejuani. This is why Weibo have the chance of brute forcing their wards and their vision into FPX's jungle. This Sejuani cannot be CC due to the passives. She can just walk in and take control. Look at this. She literally had an entire combo off of the Nico, Ash poke, Ezreal poke, and she still walks out with what, 70% HP?
Yeah, something about that. I do love that Deokdam didn't panic right there. There was a shuffle from Xiaohu to kind of say, oh, I'm going for you. But then Xiaohu didn't pull the ultimate on the trigger on the ultimate. Then Deokdam didn't pull the trigger on the arcane shift. It was just kind of this awkward exchange of like, all right, I'm going to walk over here and get to safety for the Ezreal. So nice little movement there. But again, 35 minutes in, we are starting to hit full items pretty much, for all the major carries. And this game is starting to really boil over to a one big fight. These what would you call it? Excuse me. Death timers will end up being longer and longer. We're starting to hit minute-long death timers in this game. And actually, I didn't see why Deokdam used this QSS, but it is on cooldown. Shouldn't mean anything with a Dragon and Baron spawning in a minute 40, both each at the same time. But for now, Weibo have a choice to make. They need to figure out where they want to try and put their emphasis, because if they do take the Baron, they give up the Soul. If they take the Soul, or if they take away the Soul and put themselves on 3 Hex Dragons, they can give up the Baron, and both objectives will be melted by the side of FPX.
I feel like FPX has a choice to make right here. I don't think the Soul is what they should be going for, because the Baron is so important for them to try and stumble, to try and pressure the base as a whole. So you can make that choice right here. Again, the 2 dragons that FPX stacked earlier on in the game have been a lifesaver for them right now. It has won them so many minutes into this game. 4 items onto their Kindred, 3.5 items onto their Ezreal, 3 items onto this Nico. It's actually been a lifesaver for the game right now. They can turn towards that Baron. They burn it down super quickly with triple AD carry, and I'm pretty sure that Weibo are mega aware of this. Look at all the walls that are behind enemy lines on the top side of the map. For the side of Weibo, they have plenty of flank wards for their Azir, for their Aatrox. So what they can do is leave one person towards that dragon. The second you see FPX move towards the Baron, you pull down the flank TPs and fight.
Big item completion there for Light. Got himself the Guardian's Angel, and another Guardian's Angel finished up for ZDZ. So there's 2 lives on the big carries here of Weibo Gaming. As you can see there, Xiaohu looking for a little bit of an angle, and both teams have accepted that the Dragon and the Baron at the same time. There's a good shuffle right back in. Deokdam is just dead. He got caught. The handshake was a deal with the devil, and he will give up his life for it. They even have an extra little kill there for Xiaolahu. I mean, that could straight up just be the game. Like, you don't really have a front line now to move forward and to try and stop this move. But for Weibo, I mean, you can choose anything.
That is disastrous. I feel like for Weibo right here, you take the Soul Point and you take the Baron, and then you choke FPX in their base. That was a disastrous arcane shift forward from Deokdam. For a second, I thought I was watching Xioalaohu play right there, and he had one of his oopsies, but it was disaster, and you could see from the continuation of the play, the Qs kept going all over the place. He cleanses nothing. I feel like it was a disastrous play where it actually became very frustrating for Deokdam, you'll see that he arcane shifts forward to try and poke Chris, but you have vision on ZDZ and XiaoHao. You know that they are in the area. He pre-cleanses the handshake, which means that he ends up getting rooted. He flashes towards where he knows the Aatrox resides. It was an absolute disaster for the AD carry of FPX.
Yeah, that's the kind of mistake that could lead to a Game 1 victory here for Weibo. They're fantastic in their Game 1s. They have won, I believe, before today, 7 of their 8 Game 1s. Coming into this one here, and then the base is in tatters. Like, that's just how it is. Like, you one small mistake leads to a massive myriad of different things. The Baron, the Dragon, the 2 inhibitors, and now they're, you know, yes, you've triple AD carry, but like, I mean, I don't know how you fight this. I think Weibo is just going to have all the cards to play with.
Absolutely, you have triple AD carry, double poke. Weibo just want to fight you straight in the face. 2 of their ults missed.
2 of their ults did miss because of the stopwatch. Oh, Care gets in with a 4-man pop blossom. They get the GA down. Look at this damage. It's insane right now. ZDT is going to pop back up. They need to make sure Deokdam doesn't die. He does, in fact, get the kill there. There's a TP on the backside. This is very, very far flank. But now they need to get these kills. They need to stop these people from getting out of this scot-free. They are going to be able to get one more kill there, and that's going to be down to Chris. They're seeing if they can get one more flash from Light. He's got GA, but he won't have it for much longer. There's going to be the engage in. He's going to be all out it on, and he will lose both of his lives. Despite losing everything right up until that moment, Care gets a massive play and keep FPX alive.
That was absolutely beautiful. I was about to say, it's not just a triple AD carry composition. 2 out of 3 are poke champions. You push a lot of super minions into the base. The poke literally gets mitigated by getting dumped onto the creeps. But Care did not care about all these. A massive ultimate forward. You'll see that Chris flashes for handshake onto Care. He actually zonias both the Sejuani and the Renata ultimate, and then he gets a huge R into a massive root in the backline, into a massive Q1-2-3 from the Nico hitting onto champions. That was Scare start to finish, creating a play and ending it as well. That is a breather for FPX. In no way, shape or form doesn't mean that they get to win the game off of these. They have lost to very crucial inhibitors in their base. They didn't have any major objectives to play for after the back of that play. And even though Care had a fantastic life-saving team fight right there, he unfortunately needs to replicate if FPX want to try and win this game.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge moment, but unfortunately it kind of came a little bit too late. Yes, it gives you a massive amount of priority, gets you back on the map, make sure that your inhibitors are not going to mean that much, but you're still without an inhibitor in top lane for 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes in mid. And it does mean that you're not going to really be able to move out and contest for the vision around this now. Hex Soul, 4 Dragon Hex Soul for Weibo could be just ridiculous. The ability haste and the attack speed this far into the game with stacking are going to be so monstrous. FPX need to make sure they're able to contest for that. I will say for Weibo, the good silver lining of this whole thing is they should have the GA back for the Baron, and they should have both GAs back for the Baron. They might not have them both for this Dragon, but I mean, they're not going to be too sad about how that fight went. There's so much pressure now on FPX. It would be a miracle if they took the next fight and also were able to kind of stop the objectives as well.
Also, it's very worth keeping our eyes on ZDZ's teleport right here. There is a super minion wave on the top side of the map that is pushing, and Care is going to have to go up there and clear it up because he's the only member on the side of FPX with that TP. It could potentially be a case where FPX really want to defend that soul. They do find themselves in, which it kind of seems impossible right now because you're going to need your Cassandra to walk in front of you in a very small choke point into Kalista, Renata ult, potentially Anazir. It's very dangerous to actually walk onto the bot quadrant without vision for the side of FPX, and Care's on the top side of the map, which means he's going to have to possibly back now and get back into this bot side, try and contest for the Dragon. It's not the easiest to do for FPX because Weibo are literally threatening you with their bodies.
Deokdam takes 2 auto attacks from the soldiers and loses about a third of his HP. He's just so susceptible to that damage right now. There are 2 TP wars available for Care, but Deokdam's taking such a heavy hit. This makes it so difficult for them to walk up and try and contest this right now. They do have vision of it. They're going to have to give it up, yeah.
Oh,
They
no
can't
care.
go for the soul. They just don't have the
Oh, no
position to
care.
look for it. ZDZ and Care having a little bit of a fight right now. Flash away by Care to make sure he doesn't die. It means he's not going to have that flash pop blossom. FPX, though, moving the priority back up towards that top side. They need to deal with this top wave, though, because that, as you mentioned, has a double TP potential for Weibo.
Absolutely. Look at Xiaohu. He almost has his TP back available, so they need to send somebody towards the top side of the map. This could work. This could have worked. The second you see Nico sort of clearing up the wave on the top side of the map, somebody might walk, because you see Ezreal mid, you see Nico top, you're like, surely they haven't pushed that far up. They are waiting in the bush. If you kill the Sejuani right here, it could be huge for Baron.
They want to try and burn the flash, and they will. Sejuani very tanky for the moment, but no flash now for XiaoHao to get in towards this Baron. Your inhibitors are respawning. No more super minions available for the side of Weibo. This is a big, big moment in this game. Xiaohu trying to see if he can just keep everybody away. For the moment, everyone's happy to just kind of keep pushing forward, keep looking for priority on these minions.
Really good rocket belt right there from Care to try and take the spell shield off of Xiaohu's Azir. Right now, Weibo can actually even give up the things like a Baron, just take double inhibitor again. ZDZ is looking for a flank. They are stronger, but the Baron has gone away fast.
Baron is gone. They need to reset. They need to get themselves back on the map. So FPX, they know that they don't know exactly where this ZDZ Aatrox is, but if they can get the resets, they'll be in such a good position. They're stopping the damage from coming out. Xiaohu gets jumped on and goes golden immediately. They do get the shuffle out of him. There is the Emperor's Divide alongside the Glamsless Pit, and it keeps him alive. There's the Pop Blossom right on top of Light, and he goes down. FPX from the jaws of defeat. They clutch victory. ZDZ, really the only threat left open. They TP towards the mid because they see victory in their sight.
The double TP to try and keep the minions alive. They have the Baroned up minions. They saw Xiaohu and Chris were running towards that wave to try and stop it. And I don't know how MilkyWay stays alive throughout this entire fight and brings it back home. They're TPing, they're pinging the top side wave. 25 seconds for Xiaohu, but I don't think it's enough to try and backdoor them because they're 5 members ringing your doorbell straight through the front door.
Yeah, knock knock, who's there? It is FPX looking for their game 1 victory. They'll get their ace, they'll even get themselves more kills than Weibo, and they will get themselves a game 1. It was such a close game, and it really did feel like it was all about Weibo. It was about Weibo coming back and making sure they were getting the advantages. They got Hexal and everything, but great last-minute decision-making coming out here from the side of FPX really, really does give them such a huge push in that direction, in the right direction.
I am caught not knowing how FPX do this. The fact that they make a call and it gets followed up. They see Xiaohu, they call Xiaohu, everyone piles up. MilkyWay playing between the two sides of the wall just to make this happen. It was all about Kindred. It starts with MilkyWay and apparently it ends with MilkyWay for FPX, and they absolutely steal that victory off of Weibo's hands.
Yeah, they really, really did. It started good, mid-game was bad, late game was perfect for FPX, though. We're going to send it to a quick break, and when we return,